Alright guys, today we're going to be discussing about your ultimate 30-day IELTS prep plan. This is everything you need to get started and actually from scratch, from zero to actually get to your dream score on the IELTS. This could be 7, this could be 8, this could be 9, but mostly nothing below it, by the way. But let me actually give you the exact plan that I followed and the exact plan that thousands of people who have worked with me have followed to actually ace the IELTS. We're going to get right into it. We're going to keep it short. Let's get started. The first thing I want you to do for this ultimate 30-day IELTS prep plan is to go ahead, book your IELTS. Yes, you heard me right. You have to go ahead and book the test. I recommend personally that you take it on a computer, you take it online, and that's generally the better way to go. Of course, you have a paper-based version as well, as most of you guys may know. Take it online. That's my recommendation. Too many pros to distinguish in this video, and really we're not going to get into that. But the whole reason for booking the test is that you're not going to be slacking off. You're going to have that concrete deadline that, okay, I have to finish off my preparation by so and so date. Take 30 days, set the deadline, book the test. And the other reason that you should book the test, it's not just slacking off, by the way, it's also that you actually get the slot. Because if you go ahead and book the test right now, you probably cannot get today's or tomorrow's slot, right? As it happens, there's generally a lot of demand for these slots, and you generally need to book a little bit in advance. So you start early, you book your slot, you get in the game, you get it in your head that your money has been spent, and now all you have to do is you have to prepare. There's really no alternative that we have at this moment. Right? Get yourself into that position, into that trap when your back is against the wall, essentially. The second thing that you want to do, understand the test. Very important point over here, guys. A lot of people, what they do is they don't know what the test is about. They don't know the types. They just go ahead, start studying, and 1 month later, they find out that they were doing the completely wrong thing. We don't want to get into that. So, basics in this video. 2 types of tests. One is academic, one is general training. Academic is used to get you into universities. You want to get into a university overseas, English-speaking country, you got to take the IELTS in most cases, right? And the IELTS will be required for almost everything, bachelor's, master's, PhDs, even sometimes postdoctoral programs also. So you probably will have to take it sometime in your life if you're hoping to study overseas. General training version, completely different, used during immigration or jobs, when you're working jobs overseas in an English-speaking country, right? That's when you use general training version of the test, and it's very important as well. So whichever you're preparing for, by the way, this plan is applicable to both. You do not need to worry about it, okay? The third thing, very important, I would say it's a continuation of the second. When you have to understand the test, you need to know the sections, the question types, all right? And the time you get per section, essentially, right? So we won't be discussing question types in this video. I actually have per section, I have a video where I'm discussing the questions. I'm helping you understand how to actually, ace the sections as well. So I've created all of that content for you already. You do not need to worry about that. But in this one, what we want to do is I want to give you a general structure. In this image, you can see over here, listening section lasts for 30 minutes. There's 4 listening sections. Essentially, you can understand that almost like sort of like 4 different passages, right, that you're working with, right? And you have 40 questions, okay? Reading section, 60 minutes, 3 sections, and you have to solve 40 minutes. Again, there's a lot more. If you actually go ahead and start solving the questions, you will find that, okay, I have this much time for taking the answers from this place to this place, etc., to revise. But yeah, either way, whether you're giving the paper-based version or the computer-based version, these are the general timings, and you really want to actually get these in your head before you start the test. Okay, especially per section. When you actually start doing it a couple of times, you'll have these in your head. Like similarly, you can see the writing timelines as well, and similarly you can see the speaking ones as well. 60 minutes for 2 writing tasks that you get. Total of 400 words, by the way, for both of them. First is 150 words, second is 250, but of course you want to keep it over these, right? Speaking, you get 11 to 14 minutes. This is generally in person with a native English speaker in IELTS, right? And this, of course, you get 3 parts over there. It's a face-to-face thing, so completely different experience. Out of this world, I would say it's a great experience to have. Of course, there's a lot of tips and tricks and everything that I have, and those will be covered in separate videos. You can subscribe to the channel, by the way, if you like, because there's a lot more of this content coming your way. But let's continue with your plan right now. And the first thing I want to do, after I understand the sections of the test, after I understand the question types, after I understand the amount of time it takes, is to take a mock test. Now you'll say, hey, Yash, you're crazy. Why would I take a mock test? I don't even know what kind of questions come in. I just read about them. I know briefly, but I've never really done them. That's where it's important that we take the mock test, actually, because we want to gauge our current performance. If we want to get from point A to point B, it's important that we actually understand where is our point A. For some people, point A is already a 6-band score, which basically means it's easy for them to get to an 8, right? Because they only have to do this much. But for some people, it is getting from a point 4 to a point 8, which is pretty big, right? That means you have to put in more work, more practice. And the only way you understand that is by actually testing yourself. Take a mock test, very important. I'll also tell you where the best mock tests are, so don't worry about it, my friend. But really, once you take the mock test, what you can do is you can understand this is where I currently stand and this is going to be my target score. Set your target, very important. Make sure it's in writing. Make sure you write it down on the walls if you need, but that's going to be your target for the entire prep plan, okay? Now, coming on to the actual study material. Before the plan, I want you to know these are the study material that we'll be following. Some of the very best. There's thousands of study material out there in the market, but if you just focus on these two, I think you can really ace the test, okay? Just these two, okay? And one more study material, by the way, at the bonus, and how to even get that for free, by the way, that will be present at the end of this video, so continue watching. But either way, the first one is Magoosh videos. Get them, whether you're taking the academic version, general training, don't care, doesn't matter. Get the videos because they will actually help you build the concepts, get the strategies, and in familiarizing you with the question types. If you can see on your screen right now, they actually do these questions on video, so you can actually understand exactly how to apply these strategies, what kind of concepts go into this thing, and how do you actually go about solving the question, what is the proper technique of that, right? And that's something that they give you in videos, just a couple of questions for all of these 4 sections: reading, writing, listening, speaking, right? You want to get those down in your head so that you know exactly what you're dealing with and how to actually solve this, okay? Of course, don't just go ahead, start watching the videos right now. There's a proper way to do it, and we'll discuss it in the next pointer. That is going to be the actual plan, by the way. But this is the study material, and this is why you should be using it. The second study material that I highly recommend is the Cambridge IELTS books. These are the actual test series, real tests from the IELTS that are given to you every year. Cambridge releases one book, all right? And in one book, there will be 4 complete mock tests, 4 full-fledged mock tests, 4 full-fledged tests with 4 sections each, of course, reading, writing, listening, speaking. All of these will be there. And really what you have to do is you actually have to practice with the IELTS material. I'm not gonna ask you to basically waste your time reading newspapers, watching TV series. That's all right, that's all good. You can learn English with that. But when you wanna ace the test, you wanna ace the IELTS, we're not gonna waste a single minute doing any of that, okay? So get the proper material, just like the actual IELTS, you get the actual questions, just like the actual test, okay? And the important part over here is that you use these books in descending order. So if, let's say, you're doing the general training version, right? You have 1 to 11 or something, then 1 to 12 or something, then you do 12 first, then 11, then 10, 9, 8. Similarly, there's the academic one. There's 1 to 16. That means you do 16, 15, 14, 13, and so on and so forth. And you really don't need to get to 1, by the way, in most cases, okay? But yeah, that's really how you start. Okay. Now coming on to the actual prep plan, day by day, what do you have to do? Let's discuss it. So we're going to divide this into 2 phases. First is phase 1, of course, where you have a total of 12 days. Second is phase 2, and we're going to talk shortly about that. Phase 1, 12 days, how do we spend them? The first thing we do is we basically focus on preparation in phase 1. We don't really want to get ourselves down with the timer. All we do over here is we go ahead, we watch the videos for any one particular section. We start with any one section. Let's say I'm going to start with reading. I watch all the reading videos over here, okay? After that, I understand the concepts, and then I'll open up the Cambridge books, okay? What we are going to do is for the next 2 days, basically, all right? We already spent 1 day of the reading on basically getting down the videos, right, into our head, the concepts. Now we're going to spend 2 days on the reading section, but what we're going to do is we're going to do sections, all right? We're going to pick 1 section at a time, untimed mode. Remember, we're not really trying to get against the clock over here. We're just trying to get the concepts and use them, okay? And you use the concepts that you learned from those videos. Next 2 days, you do as many of those reading sections as possible, okay? As many as possible. So let's say that even if you do from 4 or 5 books, right? That's okay, that's good enough. Don't worry about it. Even if, out of 16, you've exhausted 6 books, that's okay in 2 days if you can do that, by the way, all right? And then of course you review and improve for all these sections, right? So basically it's a set of 3 days per section essentially. For the reading you spend 3 days, 1 day in videos, and then 2 days in these Cambridge books, untimed mode of course. Then you do it for listening, then you do it for speaking, then you do it for writing. All of these sections you have to basically do one by one, untimed mode first, all right? Just get those concepts into your head. That's what we're doing over here. Phase 2, this is essentially your test prep mode, where you want to get your body used to the timer, the test. If you were doing, let's say, 80% of the questions correct on the untimed mode, now you want to go to the timed mode, but you also still want to do those 80% of the questions correct, right? Of course, it's going to be a bit of a leap at first, but really that's what we're trying to achieve over here. So, whichever books you have not exhausted until now, let's say out of 16 you used 6, no problem. Rest of the 10 books, descending order, you continue, and now you're taking the tests in timed mode. Remember, alright, exact time as the format of the actual test, which I also showed you previously, and of course you can also get them very easily online as well. Exact that much same time on these tests, alright, exact format. You want to get that into your head. You want to do it again and again and again. Every single day, alright, try to do 2 full-fledged tests. And of course, at the end of that test, you have to review, you have to improve again and again, wake up the next morning, start again. This is really everything you need to do as such by default in the plan to actually get to that 8 or 8.5 or 9. It's very well possible, I'll tell you that. I've done it, a lot of people have done it around me using the same exact material, same exact plan. But hey, a lot of people come to me and tell me like, look Yash, everything is great, but the only problem I face is vocabulary. My answer to that is either develop your own dictionary, alright? Because a lot of times what will happen is that you will come across the exact words over here on the IELTS test, right? Cambridge books that you can actually see on the IELTS. The same words. So when you're reviewing, improving, right? Write those words down, write down the meanings, okay? Very important, write down sample sentences maybe, okay? Or what you can do is you can actually take a look at this book, IELTS High Score Word List. And this one is actually a very popular book, popular option. And I would say, even though it was written about 7 years back, it's still a great book when it comes to getting your score up by essentially improving your vocabulary. If vocabulary is a problem that you're facing, you want to go ahead with this book. You want to read all the words, you want to finish them up, and of course, that's going to give you a proper boost in your score all of a sudden. You won't really notice it on day 1, day 2, but yeah, when you actually start doing the book, you do 50-60% of the book, you're actually going to notice it. The best thing about this book is that this book over here, and a lot more IELTS material, by the way, is already available for free on YMGrad. So when you sign up, you will, in the sign up email itself, get some study material notification over there. There's an offer of the year that you can avail, and over there you have to do a couple of steps and you get your study material delivered to your email within 30 minutes. Okay, guaranteed. So go ahead, make sure that you do that, and of course I wish you all the very best for your IELTS. Again, make sure to subscribe to this channel. There's a lot more, I would say, section wise videos also that we have done. Reading section, writing, speaking, listening. I want you to watch all of those, because not only do they have those tips and tricks, but you also see me live solving those questions. So what is the strategy, what is my mindset, all of that you can watch very easily on this channel. Make sure that you go ahead to my channel and check out that playlist for the IELTS, because that is golden, my friend. I'll tell you that, right? I'll see you in the next one though. Thank you so much for watching this video, and as always, looking forward to getting in touch on Instagram as well, just in case, right? Goodbye and take care.